Hello, everybody, and welcome to Batavia High School, the site of tonight's Section 5 boys basketball matchup between Batavia and Livonia. Experiencing some issues to begin this game. We needed everything to go perfectly today, sporting 3 different games, but clearly that was not the case to start this game. You saw that much of this first quarter take place as Javen McFollins with 14 points, 4 3-pointers, the last one coming near the scorer's table. Just an incredible start for McFollins, an incredible start for Batavia. And Alex Brasky and Coach Dan Dickens with you here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. It's been a red-hot start for Batavia, and Chris Coyle on the other side for Livonia has made a few buckets here, but that's going to really be the key for Livonia. It's beautiful ball movement inside. Carter McFollins with the pass inside to Justin Smith on the finish. And now Batavia's lead swells to 17 points. But as I was saying, Chris Coyle for Livonia, a fantastic performance against Mid Lakes in the pre-quarterfinal round. A 24-point effort for the Livonia senior. A dunk sealed the deal down the stretch of that game. And we bring in Coach Dickens following our first connection issues, then our audio issues. I take the blame of that. Trying to fit in these 3 games, sometimes things go a bit awry. And I do apologize to the viewer, but we're right here and ready for you for a smooth final 3 quarters. And, Coach, why don't you reiterate what you said during our audio issues, your breakdown of this matchup. You know these 2 teams well. Coach Matt Young for Livonia, Coach Buddy Brasky for Batavia. They've been in it for a long time, and they always have their teams in contention.
Yeah, I think Livonia, it's kind of been the worst-case scenario start for them here. They had losing McFollins a little bit in the half court. Gave up a few easy buckets here, and then offensively it's just been a struggle. Batavia's been getting after them from as soon as they get over half court, and they've struggled with it. Batavia just great help side defense as well.
As you saw McClintock there, off the mark, and we've reached the end of the first quarter, and we're going to collect ourselves here a bit on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. A rough start for us, but we promise a smooth finish to this game. All right, we're going to put that first quarter behind us, Coach. 15-point lead for Batavia, but in terms of our performance, we're going to put it behind us. We're going to move forward and battle through a bit of adversity here, show great resilience on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. The Casella Way scoreboard reads 24-9, Batavia in the lead. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Casella, your #1 service provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Call 585-308-0662 today for a quote. That's Casella.com. Tommy Stewart calling for the ball inside, posting up against Sawyer Seiverling. Didn't get it. Instead it goes to Nick Coyle in the corner. No good. Estevan Lovett comes over. Stewart rips it away but turns it over. And now Seiverling in transition. No good. McKenzie on the rebound. Back to Seiverling from McClintock. And he knocks down the 3. Sawyer Seiverling with a big 3, and Batavia is rolling. Coach, what have you seen from Batavia that's allowed them to jump out to such a hot start?
They're relentless down on the offensive end. Their ball movement, their penetration, they're finding the open guy, pounding the offensive glass, and just totally unselfish.
18-point lead for the Blue Devils. Here's McKenzie from the corner. Gets it out to McClintock now. Probing for room, can't find any. And now it's Seiverling with it at the top of the key. Lovett from the corner. Hook shot, no good. McKenzie on the rebound, lost it initially. And now he throws it away. Coyle in transition. Nick Coyle, nice Euro step to the rim, but he can't get the finish. Initially had his own rebound. Rolling around was Jack Kearney, who came away with the loose ball. And now Chris Coyle will reset it for the the Bulldogs. Connor Feehan for three. And that will be big if he can get going for Livonia, one of their sharpshooters and one of their key elements offensively.
Yeah, it's a second one there. He looks a lot more confident with that stroke. Livonia in a little 1-3-1 zone here. Maybe trying to protect the wings. Now it's dropped back down to a 2-3.
Yeah, talking with Coach Buddy Brasky before the game, that was one thing he was concerned with, playing against that 1-3-1 zone. You don't see that very often in the half court, and Livonia works it to their advantage, as you saw on that possession, knocking it away for the turnover, but they came up empty on the other end with the air ball.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of teams play 1-3-1 for an extended amount of time, and I think one of the reasons, and you're seeing a little here, is it's difficult to defensive rebound in a 1-3-1 defense, and Batavia really has been owning the offensive glass, except on that one there.
Coyle, three ball, Nick Coyle trying to get Livonia back involved here. It's down to a 12-point lead, just like that. Livonia back in a little bit more positive territory, and Coach Buddy Brasky calls a timeout, sensing a bit of dangerous territory for his own team. We'd like to thank Genesee Community College. Apply for free online, genesee.edu/apply. See on your screen the game that we had before. Bath Haverling taking on Leroy. Leroy, a 30-point winner in that game, Coach. It was an incredible performance from Merritt Holly Jr. and company. Holly Jr. got whatever he wanted throughout the entire game, and that's a credit to his talent and to Coach Matt Weinman's ability to get him involved, even though the game plan for Bath Haverling undoubtedly was to slow him down.
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a good player. It's hard to sometimes stop them. Last year when we played them, that was our biggest concern. He still had like 34 against us. I thought the other guys played really well. If Leroy is going to advance over Dansville on Wednesday, I think they're going to need other scoring too, and they got that today, which is big for them.
So a foul called here. It will stay with Batavia. And something I was impressed with during the Leroy game, Coach, there was some unruly fans during the game, and the Leroy administration nipped it in the bud right away in the first quarter, came over, made sure, as you see Rashad Christie get on the board for the Blue Devils, came right over, asserted themselves as the administration, and gave the fans a little bit of a talking to, and it quelled any unrest that had the potential to really grow out of control. And you don't see that enough at high school. The administration on hand really, as you see Carter McFarland's convert, three-point play opportunity coming up. You don't see that enough. The administration getting involved and making sure it's a conducive atmosphere for everybody involved, including the officials. And I just wanted to give credit to the Leroy administration and athletic director Matt Davis for that.
Yeah, I was watching at home, and I could see him go over there. People think they have the right to be a jerk in the crowd. Like, refereeing is not easy. I'd like to see half these people get out there and try it. These guys bust their butts to do their best for these kids, and we're losing officials. There's not enough officials most Friday nights to do games, and that's just basketball. So, hopefully the people take a look at themselves and realize how they're acting is just not appropriate, and let the kids play and the refs do the officiating.
16-point lead for Batavia. Livonia trying to work their way back down the lane line, tried to kick it out, but it's intercepted by Cam McClintock. Here comes Batavia now, looking to add to its advantage. Seiverling kicks it out to McFarland's on the drive into the lane, tried to wrap it around to Christie. Second chance gets it to him, and that is Christie's hot spot. There was a game a few games ago, I think it was against, I'm not sure the opponent, as Seiverling knocks down the three. What a run for Batavia. They now lead it by 21. Midway through this second quarter, Still gaining my bearings here. Now, Mia, if you could you put on the screen for us Casella Waste? I'll tell you when to stop. We'd like to be sure to thank Casella Waste, your #1 service provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Casella will save your business time and money on trash and recycling services. Call 585-308-0662 for a quote today. Affordable and reliable local service, containers of all sizes, and free delivery available with those containers. Call 585-308-0662 for a quote today. Also, Crazy Cheap Cars. We'll see you right here. That's my best Mike Ognebeen impression. Better or worse than last night, Coach?
I think it's getting better. I think it's one of those things. The more you do it, the better you're going to get, man. Just keep practicing.
Right. It's all in the practice. Crazy Cheap Cars, the ultimate in price and selection. CrazyCheapCars.com, 585-948-8000. Good. All right, here we go. Back to, stop. Sorry, we're having trouble with our ads here. A little bit of a struggle during this broadcast, but we'll get there. We promise. Chris Coyle from the elbow pulls up, no good. Rebound goes to Cam McClintock. That's really going to be key for Livonia, Coach. They need to find a way to get Coyle involved really almost on every possession. And Christie in his hot spot once again. And let me just go back to that point before I get your thoughts on Coyle. There was a game a few games ago for Batavia where Christie put in, I think, that exact same layup, just sitting there in the short corner / block area and just putting in that shot off glass. And he did that for like 5 straight possessions, worked his way to a double-digit effort, a career high in points, and he really just sneaks behind the defense. And sometimes when you have so much talent on the perimeter, a guy like that can go unnoticed.
Yeah, he's just really good at finding the open spots, and he's got such a quick release. I mean, it's just part of knowing his role. Like, that's where he's going to be. I've watched him 4 or 5 times this year, and every game he seems to get 3 or 4 buckets right from that same spot. And that's because other guys are creating too. I mean, and they're looking for him. Like, it's just one of those things. They know he's there. I will say, since that timeout Coach Brasky took, I think it's a 12-0 run here. 10-0 run maybe. This was a great timeout.
Sorry about that, Coach. 9-0 run. They had it down to 12, now up to 21. And Seiverling takes it away. What an effort from Seiverling here tonight, too. There's so many players playing well for Batavia. And you see McFollins with his 5th three-pointer of the first half. When he's hot, he's hot.
Yeah, I mean, that's just good composure, too. I mean, he head fake. He knew he was head faking from the second he got the ball.
Coyle inside, forcing the issue, and that's what you need Coyle to do. He came up empty there, but that's what you need your senior leader to do, is force the issue in times of trouble. So credit to him for really taking it upon himself on that possession, trying to stem the tide for his team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, you know, there's some frustration out there from the Livonia kids right now. I mean, it's tough. You get in this moment, you know, your season's over if you don't win, and you find yourself with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter down 24. And the way this Batavia team's playing right now, I mean, they've got the look of a championship team, and you know, this is the effort and attitude and that's going to lead them to that. I mean, it's going to be a tough out, no doubt, with them. A lot of seniors helps too, and you're getting some different performances all year long for them. Today it's Javen. Next round it could be any of these other guys. So, you know, it's a great team effort here so far in the first half.
It's been an incredible run for Batavia this year. They were sub-500 a year ago, Batavia's first sub-500 team in about 20 years, and they respond with a #1 seed in the Class B1 playoff.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, you take a look. They play a tough schedule every year, you know, and a lot of close games last year too. So anybody that thought maybe Coach Brasky took a step back because of the record is crazy, because you see this. Nobody's going to outwork him. Nobody's going to open the gym as much as he does and put the time and effort. And the kids, you know, committing to it too. I mean, it's a two-way process here. The coach and the players coming out, and you know, you see it like on the defense here. It's just total teamwork. No open shots for Livonia. Everything's contested.
Batavia obviously playing close attention to Coyle, as he was unable to connect there, but you got to credit Coyle. He's taking the shots when they're there, and it's all you can ask for. Sometimes they just don't go down, especially when you're guarded as closely as he is. Being the leading scorer for this team, you're going to draw a lot of attention. As McFollins from the corner, no good. Rebounded by Mikey McKenzie for the extra possession for Batavia. Another try for Javen McFarland's almost from the corner. Instead, he drives and lays it in with the left hand. Beautiful move through contact for Javen McFarland's, but I've been impressed by Coyle's ability to step to the forefront in this game when his team needs it. He's handling the ball against the pressure. He's taking shots. He's doing everything he can. It's just when Batavia's playing this well, it's very difficult to keep pace with them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming for these Livonia kids, it seems like there's 7 defenders out there for Batavia, because every time they get a step, there's guys coming all over the place, and this is almost impossible to duplicate this in practice. So you get out here, and it comes at you fast, and I think we're seeing that here. I mean, give them credit. They're still fighting, but this is a Batavia team that's been off for whatever it's been, 10 days. It's a hungry team, and they're showing it.
Aiden Bellavia checking in for the first time tonight. He missed some time earlier this year with a head injury, so good to see him back on the floor and healthy. He's a key part of this Batavia team. Started the season as a starter, since moved to 6th man, and now working his way back into the lineup since suffering that injury. And if they can get contributions from him, as well as you see so many other players capable of contributing on this team, it's really a tall task for any opponent when you can go at an opponent in waves like they can.
Yeah, no doubt it helps.
Carter McFarland's in transition to the rim and the lay-in. Javen McFarland's, I think, wanted his brother to miss that so he could get the tip slam, but Carter true on the lay-in.
Yeah, like you were saying before, though, Batavia has so many kids they can throw at you. You know, you do see a lot of teams limit their rotation, go a little shorter. I think you're still going to see it maybe with Batavia, but they have the ability to go deeper. And I saw that coming from a mile away. A double foul right at the foul line. Both players banging at it pretty good.
Coach Brasky asking why. Seemed like not enough contact to warrant a foul, but at the same time in the first half, you don't want that kind of battle to develop into something greater, especially with these two teams having a little bit of bad blood from their previous matchup. You don't want that to, like I said, develop into anything more intense.
Yeah, it's a good job. I was going to say they're going to get a 5 count there. Like, great job by McFarland. I could see the official warning both of them to knock it off, and then they went back at each other and banged. In the 30-point game, you just don't need that. So, good officiating. Great job at McFarland's there getting that 5 count.
McFarland's, and no shot. That's going to do it. And if I know Coach Brasky, there's nothing he loves more than a good 5-second count. So to go into the half with that, he's certainly going to have a lot to build on during this halftime break. But we'd like to thank Casella Waste, our scoreboard sponsor here tonight. But first, we'd like to thank Genesee Community College, Genesee Your Path, and apply for free online at genesee.edu/apply. Over 120 scholarships, and 88% of students receive financial aid at GCC. So GCC, I'm a proud alumnus of GCC. I was telling Mia during the Leroy game, took me a little longer than your average student to get through, but here I am. I made it through the other side. We'd also like to thank Casella Waste, which will save your business time and money on trash and recycling services. Affordable and reliable local service, containers of all sizes, and free delivery of those containers available now. 585-308-0662 for a quote today. Also, crazycheapcars.com, the ultimate in price and selection. 585-948-8000. And here are the Batavia cheerleaders. We didn't quite get their performance there, but showing up and showing out. Nice job by the Batavia cheerleaders. We take a quick break. We're going to gather ourselves here, Coach. We made it through the first half. You didn't think that we would, but we did. And Batavia with a 29-point lead. We go to a quick break here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Section 5 Class B1 matchup between Batavia and Livonia. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Genesee Community College.
It will be Batavia ball.
Also, Casella Waste. Also, Crazy Cheap Cars. And also, Empire Tractor, your local New Holland dealer selling a full range of tractors and farm equipment. That's Empire Tractor, located on Route 5 in Batavia. Empire Tractor now selling the Coyote line of tractors, mowers, and utility vehicles. We'd like to thank Empire Tractor, a proud supporter of our work here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. We had a bit of a slow start to this game. Alex Brasky and Coach Dan Dickens with you. Missed much of that first quarter, and now the officials with a slow start to the second half. So, Coach, you know what? Nobody's perfect. That's what we're learning here.
You know, I always thought it was the scorekeeper's job to get the officials at 3 minutes, not throwing Coach Fazio under the bus here by any stretch of the imagination. But, you know, they don't have an internal clock themselves, so I play the game without the officials, just like we're finding out. You know, people's going to yell at them. This is what it's going to look like. Coaches will be roughing the game.
Right. I always thought it was the JV coach's responsibility to go get the officials. JV coach Dave Pirro taking that duty upon himself here. Obviously, I'm just joking, but good job by Coach Pirro trying to track down the officials. Perhaps this is a ploy by Livonia trying to ice Batavia. That hot start in that first half. Javen McFarland's with 5 3-pointers paced Batavia's hot start, but a number of players getting it done. Coach, what did you see in that first half?
Like I said, I mean, Batavia put together what it's going to take to win another championship. They looked solid offensively and defensively. Everything Livonia got, they worked for. And then at the other end, like Batavia's ball movement, their spacing, they just took advantage of Livonia getting beat off the dribble. And then when they came to help, they found the open man. Then on top of that, they pounded them on the offensive glass as well. So not an ideal first half for Livonia. I know Coach Young was expecting to put forth a little bit better effort here today. I don't know if it's as much Livonia not playing well or if it's just Batavia's playing that well. I mean, Batavia has really been dominant today on both sides. I think that's what, with Batavia, like, it doesn't matter. I've watched them a bunch this year. You know, I've seen Carter McFarland's go off. I've seen Javen go off. We've seen Christie have big games. You know, I've seen Cyberling as well. You know, it's just so many weapons for them.
And wow, the officials returned to resounding applause. You don't hear that very often when the officials return to the floor, but a good humorous moment here as obviously no one alerted them that the second half was ready to go.
Yeah, it's a funny, a little lighthearted moment for them, always good. 3 good officials on this game, James Hawkins, Keegan Ryan, and John York. So, again, they're probably just talking about how they're going to run the second half and lose track of time as well. So let's see if Livonia can get a stop here on this first possession.
Javen McFarland's trying his luck from 3, no good. And now here comes Nick Coyle for Livonia. Javen McFarland's takes it away, bounces it to Carter McFarland's at the rim. Nice ball fake, Coach.
Yeah, good composure on there. It's just, you know, again, seniors, you know, they're ready for this moment. They're just going to throw up anything. So good job finishing on the 2-on-1.
So here's Livonia with it now, trying to work their way back from this 31-point deficit. 31-point deficit. As it's really been all Batavia here in the early going. They're swarming Livonia defensively and answering on the offensive end with points more often than not. Batavia in transition. Cyberling slows it down.
Yeah, good job by him there. I didn't think he had his feet set. He's a good shooter, too. He knows he's going to get more opportunities with better luck.
Carter McFarland's had it knocked out of bounds, out of his hands by Chris Coyle.
Good active play, Coyle there, keeping it alive. You know, it's good to see Livonia come out here defensively. It looks a little bit better. Shoot.
Brief delay for a shoe tie here. As you see Jack Kearney, Jackson Cook, Nick Coyle, Chris Coyle, and Connor Feehan on the floor for Livonia. And Sawyer Cyberling, one of Batavia's starting 5, knocks down the 3.
Yeah, it's like we were talking. He had an opportunity to shoot one a little off balance from right in front of the Batavia bench. And I think he just knew he's going to get another open look. That was just on an out-of-bounds play. Feet set, caught it right in rhythm, no hesitation. You know, like I said, just so many weapons here for Batavia.
Fian on the jumper, no good. Christie on the rebound. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time, Rashad Christie.
Yeah, it's defensively, you know, whether it's for help defensively or offensively, just finding a spot. I mean, I think it looks like, again, these Batavia defenders, they know Fian and they know Coyle. They're not going to get beat by those guys, and they're laying off the other guys there a little bit. So those two are having a real tough go of it offensively.
Carter McFarland's on the finish. Nick Coyle on the other end for Livonia, no good. Here comes Vin McFarland's with it now, streaking down the floor. Carter McFarland's for three, no good. Again, Christie, Johnny on the spot, but a rare miss inside. But Cam McClintock able to chase down the loose ball. Extra possession here for Batavia. McFarland's at the top of the key. Drive, and the finish with the left hand.
Hey, good body control there by him. Again, Christie might have missed the first one. He kept that second one alive. McClintock, great hustle to get that. And it's good body control and good finish with Carter's left there.
We'd like to thank Genesee Community College. Apply for free online at genesee.edu/apply. Over 120 scholarships offered, and over 88% of full-time students receive financial aid. Casella Waste will save your business time and money on trash and recycling services. That's Casella. Call 585-308-0662 for a quote today. Also, crazycheapcars.com, the ultimate in price and selection. That's Crazy Cheap Cars in Oakfield, 585-948-8000. Also, Empire Tractor, your local New Holland dealer, selling a full range of tractors and farm equipment. That's Empire Tractor on Route 5 in Batavia, right in front of the Genesee County Fairgrounds, now selling the full range of Coyote tractors, mowers, and utility vehicles. As Connor Fian getting involved here. Big three for Livonia, Coach.
Yeah, good kick out on that one. Again, he's a good shooter when he has time. He had a little more time on that one.
And Vin McFarland's with his sixth three-pointer of the game answers on the other end. I believe his season high is 8 or 9 threes in a single game.
Yeah, they don't seem rattled. And if you watch some of that Greece Athena game when Batavia played, I mean, Athena was scoring as well. Oh, my.
Oh, my. What a pass from Vin McFarland's, leaving his feet and a little bit of misdirection, creating some off-balance-ness, I should say, for the Livonia defender, and then finding Christie on the opposite block. That was a beautiful pass from Vin McFarland's, and now a discussion between the officials as we get our scoreboard graphic back up there. Casella Waste, your local waste and recycling service provider. .418 remaining here in the third quarter. 40-point lead for Batavia, and Vin McFarland's with 6 3-pointers and that beautiful pass we just saw from him, Coach. What a play there.
Yeah, it's, he's got some athleticism because he hung in the air for a little while. Thought he was going back out, as did the Livonia defender, and just great basketball IQ to see the guy underneath and hit him with a bounce pass. You know, you don't see this too often from Coach Brasky, but he was even smiling after that play. Can relax a little bit. I saw him earlier today, and, I've been through this. Like, when you have a big game or a sectional game and it's early in the morning, there's some nervousness, anxiousness, I guess, more than nervousness. And I was like, a little worried about tonight, huh, Coach? He goes, always. And I think he's a little more relaxed right now that they're up 40.
Oh, and Coyle goes crashing into the mat beneath the basket. Looked like there may have been a wet spot down there, and a worrisome situation here with Coach Young coming out to tend to his forward as he went crashing to the floor. Hopefully he's okay here. And he is able to rise to his feet under his own power before Coach Young gets there, but his back appears to be the issue. Stretching it out here. Coyle perhaps playing his last game for Livonia here tonight, and you'd hate to see his career end on a play like that, and it's really good to see him able to walk off. That was an ugly-looking fall, and I think we need a towel or something over here. It appeared to be maybe a wet spot underneath there.
It's like they're looking for stuff, and they didn't see anything. But, yeah, you'd hate to see a player like that have something worse happen. But hopefully he'll be okay. He did walk off on his own power out with the Livonia trainer now.
And it's getting to that point in this game where Batavia may start to look ahead to its next opponent, which is likely going to be Bishop Kearney, the number 3 seed within this classification, and that's a team that beat Batavia already this season, as Javen McFarland's at the rim tried to elevate for the dunk, but I think the pass caught him by surprise, so he didn't get his complete footing underneath him and wasn't able to elevate quite enough, but an impressive finish nonetheless. But going back to that potential Batavia-Kearney matchup, Batavia was without Carter McFarland's in that game and still battled Bishop Kearney, one of the top teams in Rochester this season. So it's going to be interesting to see if that does in fact turn out to be the case on, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two. We'll figure it out here down the stretch, but that's going to be an interesting matchup, Coach, for sure. What are you looking forward to out of that matchup? I know during our sectional preview show you said that was one of your most highly anticipated matchups of this sectional tournament.
Yeah, I just think anytime you get a team with a rematch opportunity, some little bit of revenge, if you will, these neutral site games are big. I know BK's had a ton of success in basketball. The last few years, not as much. So you're going to have a Batavia team as well that's, besides last year, they've been in these semis, they've been in the finals. It's been a few years here for BK. Very young, 8th and a 9th grader, and the started 5 for them. So, you take a look at all these seniors for Batavia, and I think this has got the makings for a great game wherever that's going to be played, as well as these C games on Monday. I think we're going to have some very, very good, entertaining basketball games Monday for Section 5.
Yeah, we're hoping to have Batavia's semifinal matchup streamed on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. Still waiting for time and location to be determined for that game, but we do anticipate bringing you that on Wednesday, we think. Yes, March 1st is a Wednesday. So Wednesday, Batavia will move on to the semifinal if they are able to finish the job here against Livonia. Still enough time for a miraculous comeback, but certainly doesn't seem to be trending that way. But as you mentioned, Coach, in Class C, we are looking forward to a lot of good games in Class C. Class C1, Class C2, Class C3. We will likely have the double headers in Class C2 and Class C1, both semifinals in each classification, on Monday, available for stream on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. We're still hoping to work that out, but that is our plan, and we'll keep you abreast of our plan as we move along. But, Coach, why don't you preview the complete Class C bracket, starting with Avon and Geneseo near the top in Class C1, followed by Pembroke, Oakfield, and York in Class C2, and finally Byron Burgeon and Warsaw, I believe, in Class C3.
Well, you take a look at C1, and I think when you have Avon and Geneseo, third time they've split. Geneseo had a little trouble with Canisteo Greenwood last night. Then I watched them make about 5 or 6 threes in a stretch that allowed them to get a pretty big lead. And then, the North Star Rochester Academy game should be a good one. They're actually split. So Geneseo and Avon are going to be at Bloomfield. The C2 are the ones, I think, at Letchworth, where you're going to have Pembroke and Bolivar Richburg in the first game. Pembroke uncharacteristically gave up a lot of points in the first half to Alexander last night. The layoff maybe affected them a little bit more than it has Batavia today, who's only given up 18, and we're almost done with the third. So I just see Pembroke being a tough out there. But the nightcap, I think that nightcap's got the makings for a great game down in Letchworth with Oakfield and York. Like I said on the preview show, you've got a very physical team with York. With Oakfield, I think that could give York a little bit of issues with that. York shot the lights out last night. York's got 5 guys on the floor that can score at any time. That's the one thing with Oakfield that does concern me. Getting some scoring from some other guys besides Porter and Smith. Courier's a great athlete, so it'd be nice to get him going. Yasa scored quite a bit against Pembroke. I just think they got to get a little bit more of that throughout, not rely on Porter and Smith with most of their offense there. I think it's going to be a great game. Personally, you've got a 2-time defending champion in Oakfield, Alabama, and you've got a York team that won it last year. Unfortunately, 2 of those were against me in the finals, but that's what happens sometimes. And then you take a look at C3, and you got Byron Burgeon and Wheatland Chili, and I'm glad they put that at Cal Mum. I mean, that's going to be a great atmosphere.
Forgot about Wheatland Chili somehow.
That's going to be a great atmosphere. And talking to Coach Lund this morning a little bit, he was really happy that they got scheduled there. I think you're going to have both communities come out, full support. Burgeon's beat them twice, but the last one was only by a point. Wheatland's been missing some guys, dealt with some injuries. But they're going to have to contend with a very talented starting 5 for Byron Burgeon. And Roxanne Noeth, Coach Noeth's done a great job. Gets them to play hard right from start to finish. So I think that's going to be a great game. And then you've got Warsaw Lions. As I think we've seen from the Wayne County teams, it's only Lions standing out of that Wayne County now. I don't think it's been the toughest. Now, give Lions a ton of credit. They went out and scheduled a lot of tough non-league games because you can only play who's on your schedule. Warsaw started slow last night. I think it was 8-0 at the beginning. But Warsaw's got some athletes that can defend, that play hard as well. So, I think we got the makings of some really good semifinal games. And as we've seen on these quarterfinal games, we've had a lot of blowouts. And competitive basketball is a lot more fun to be at, and not that I'm not having fun here, but Batavia's played great today.
See a few reserves in for each side. Joey Marenko finishing for Batavia on their last possession, and you also saw Owen Wetterings for Livonia put in a layup for the Bulldogs. So a few players that don't necessarily get to shine as much throughout the regular season getting an opportunity here in this lopsided affair. But we'd like to thank our sponsors once again, beginning with Genesee Community College. But why don't we take a break and show you the Batavia cheerleaders here on the floor. It's always good to have the cheerleaders, Coach. I think it brings an extra element of energy to the proceedings, and it also brings their parents and their family and friends out, and it adds to the vastness of the crowd. It's just all around a good thing when the cheerleaders participate in the proceeding.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know at our school, our cheerleaders only did like 3 or 4 home games this year, more concentrating on their competitions, which they do have more of those opportunities now, which is great. But it does bring a better atmosphere, in my opinion. You do see them more often at sectionals as well, so always good to see them, their hard work paid off.
Genesee Community College, Genesee your path. Apply for free online, genesee.edu/apply. Also, Casella Waste will save your business time and money on trash and recycling services. And CrazyCheapCars.com, the ultimate in price and selection, as well as Empire Tractor, your local New Holland dealer on Route 5 in Batavia, right in front of the Genesee County Fairgrounds. They're selling a complete range of Coyote tractors, mowers, and utility vehicles. They have everything you could ask for at Empire Tractor. Proud supporters here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network, and we appreciate everything that Empire Tractor has done for us to make sure we can get these games for you on the BDN SN. We'll get that scoreboard graphic up for you. Sorry to block the screen. As Owen Wetterings, another basket here for Livonia. He's had a good stretch here.
That was a really good step through by him there, and great finish. He's going to get a little over-aggressive there.
As you see Carter Mullen in transition for Batavia. He's fouled. Batavia will keep it underneath. We'd like to remind you we also have another game coming up tonight, Coach, and it's not as quick of a turnaround between our first 2 games being 2 hours separating the tip-offs, and that's what kind of led to some difficulty for us rushing to try to get this game on the air. But Batavia Notre Dame taking on Honeoye, the 3-6 matchup in Class D1 at 6 p.m. tonight on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. Notre Dame, a defending champion, but they have another defending champion in their bracket this season in Avoca Prattsburgh. They're looking up at Avoca Prattsburgh, but they're the favorite entering tonight's matchup. What do you see from the Irish, from the Bulldogs? I know you still have to do a bit more research. As Aiden Bellavia with a strong finish inside with the left hand. But what do you know about Honeoye, particularly just based off of your brief research as Coyle finishes at the rim?
Just like with the Wayne County schools, I think the Finger Lakes West has had a pretty poor showing in sectionals as far as wins and losses. And they competed. We watched some of that South Seneca Wheatland Chili game last night, and again, Wheatland Chili was missing guys a lot during the year, so their record's going to come in, and their seeding is going to be a little lower. Coach Delisani at Honeoye has been there a while. He played there, played on some really good Honeoye teams in the mid 90s. Very active in Section 5 basketball as well. Going to put forth a good effort. I don't know if they're going to have the players to compete with Notre Dame. I know our team, Cal Mum, went to Honeoye and beat them this year. I think, especially Notre Dame finished in the season out pretty well, pretty strong. So, but it's sectionals. It's early. Coach Rapone's looking to get that first win as the head coach. And they're bigger. They're looking ahead. They're looking at Avoca Prattsburgh. That's their biggest competition they're going to see. And I think, not that they're looking past Honeoye, but they've got bigger eyes on a prize.
Cruz Rapone for three. Big moment for him after another bucket from Bellavia moments ago. And a technical foul called against Livonia. But you saw zoom in on a few with Notre Dame garb across the way. That's a few of Notre Dame's athletes. You have Jaden Sherwood and Jay Antonor alongside a Batavia athlete, Jamison Motika. Jamison was the independent MVP for the Section 5 hockey season. And Jaden and Jay are going to be playing later tonight at 6 p.m. on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. And that's the beauty here in Batavia. You have Notre Dame, you have Batavia across town. And on a day like today, when you have Batavia playing at 3 and Notre Dame playing at 6, some of those players are able to come over and watch their friends from the crosstown school. And now an ejection here at Batavia High School, as Jack Kearney has been ejected. And I'm not sure what else is going to be determined here, as the officials are having a discussion. And just to give you some background, there was a play during the previous matchup between these two teams that left Bellavia injured in the previous matchup, as I said, and it's led to some bad blood that's brewed between these two programs and these two fan bases, and clearly it's reached a fever pitch with what appears to be an ejection, I believe, and perhaps a technical being called against Batavia as well. We're trying to determine here what's going on as the officials continue to sort it out. But it did appear as if one of the officials, yes, we do have an ejection. And I believe that's Jack Kearney from Livonia being ejected. And we'll see if we have a subsequent technical foul called against Bellavia, who's also involved there. We don't have the opportunity like in the NBA where the officials come over and talk to us and tell us what happened. But we do have Paul Spiata, the PA announcer. So Jack Kearney ejected. And a technical against Estevan Lovett. So Bellavia involved with the play, but Lovett perhaps came over to protect his teammate. And he was assessed a technical foul in response to Kearney's emotional outburst and pushing Bellavia to the floor. So Bellavia at the line now, and he'll shoot, and Batavia will get the ball back. But an unfortunate part of this game, Coach, things getting chippy with the game out of hand.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. You hate to see it. I mean, you've got a 43-point game here. Most people just want to get this done with, move on. Especially, I think Coach Brasky did a great job of getting the starters out because, you know, these Livonia kids, when they're down, they don't have a next game for basketball. Like, this is it. Now, Jack's going to have to sit if he plays a spring sport the first contest. So, you know, that's unfortunate, but, you know, he puts himself in that position. But that's, I think, one of the reasons you get your starters and you get players out early so that they don't get hurt or they don't get themselves involved in a situation. And the Batavia starters have been out since about 2 or 3 minutes to go in the third period. So this is a good opportunity for some of these kids off the bench to get some sectional experience and possibly even at the end some of the JV call-ups to get out and run around a little bit against some varsity kids. So I think any of this experience can help. One of the things I do like with when you're able to bring kids up in sectionals is they get a couple weeks of practice in the varsity style because it doesn't matter where you practice at or what school you're at. The JV practice looks different than the varsity practice. So I think this is a good opportunity to open their eyes and get them ready. So good bucket there by Coyle. Good to see him still out there and finish his senior season out strong.
Rapone for three again, no good. And now here comes Livonia. Coyle trying to go for the slam, but he had it knocked away, lost control before he reached the rim. And a foul called. It's going to send Coyle to the line. Good to see him physically okay, clearly after crashing into the wall. He's able to elevate for the potential dunk, so he seems to be fine. It's a good sight to see. And misses the free throw, but back to that Notre Dame matchup. You have so many talented players all over the floor for Notre Dame. Not a lot of size on that team, but they can certainly shoot it. And they certainly have a championship track record to fall back on as well. They've been in these big games. They've been in these big moments, and I'm sure they're excited for this matchup tonight.
Yeah, like you said earlier, we had Notre Dame kids here watching. I mean, one thing with a town like this is they all grew up playing youth sports together, so they know each other. I'm sure they have friendships with guys at both schools. But, yeah, Notre Dame, between Sherwood and Welker and Fitzpatrick and Fanara, Antnor, who played really well in the Christmas tournament final. You know, they have a bunch of solid players out there that it's going to be tough to defend, too. I mean, I not necessarily thinking tonight, but I think maybe in the semis with Fillmore where you might have a more competitive game, or certainly if they make it to the finals and are playing Avoca Prattsburg.
It's going to be an exciting night at Mike Rapone Court just across town here in Batavia. And it's been an exciting afternoon if you're a Batavia Blue Devils fan, as they lead it by 41 points here in the Class B1 quarterfinal. As Livonia now at the line for two. It's Gavin Woolston shooting the 2 free throws. Thought it was going to be Coyle, but apparently on the rebound, Woolston was fouled going up for the second chance. And misses the free throw. Tommy Stewart inside the putback. And he's fouled by Bellavia, who was undercutting him on the box out.
That's his third.
Alexander with an upset victory over Geneseo in girls basketball, 39-36. Big moment for the Trojans as they knocked off Pembroke in the opening round, and now an upset win over Geneseo, who had one of its best seasons in recent memory. Coach, I know you follow the boys' game a little bit closer, but you also pay attention to the girls' game, coaching softball, knowing these girls. And for Alexander to knock off Geneseo, how disappointing is that for Geneseo? As, like I said, they really had a strong season.
Yeah, I know our girls in the 20th game of the season. I know that was a big win for our girls when they played Geneseo at our place, because Geneseo's gym's not workable right now. But that was a big win for our girls. Unfortunately, our girls went down to Dundee Bradford tonight, lost a hard-fought contest. I was able to watch majority of it. They had the lead at half, but things got away from them in a little bit in the fourth quarter. I think Dundee Bradford went on like an 8-0 run, trying to do this and watch the phone. So, anytime you get into these tight games and you lose, it's disappointing. So, have a couple really good sophomores in Hazel Nickerson and Ava Amarise coming back, but feel bad for the senior girls, Maddie DeVore, Gracie Boudreau, and Marissa Roides for Caledonia. So, I know we got scores coming in and we talk a little bit, but yeah, I think we got some very good competitive girls games semis coming up as well.
And Mia, you go to Geneseo. This is Mia Laughlin working the controls for us here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network, working double duty today. I think it's her first doubleheader for us. I think she did the Lions Club tournament. But anyway, Mia, you're from Geneseo. You know those girls. You know how much it meant to them. How proud are you as a Blue Devils student athlete to watch what those girls did and accomplished this year? And although it ended a little disappointing fashion, how proud are you of those girls?
They did a great job. They had a fantastic season considering the adversity of not having a gym for a good end of the season. We're working on getting that gym back together for the upcoming seasons in the fall, but it wasn't for volleyball season either, so we'll see how it is.
Yeah, construction ongoing at the Geneseo Gymnasium. They've really been a traveling band throughout the year. They played at SUNY Geneseo. They played home games at Cal Mum, Letchworth, so Avon, Mount Morris. So it's certainly been tough on those teams. And you saw the Geneseo boys put forth a disappointing effort through three quarters last night against Geneseo Greenwood. And then Geneseo to be knocked off tonight. It just leads you to believe that going on the road for your home games over and over wore on those teams and maybe led to a bit lesser production than they're used to. But that could be the final time that you see Chris Coyle check out as a member of this Livonia Bulldogs program. A fantastic career for Coyle. A great kid, a great representative of Livonia High School, and a fantastic player to boot. That's a great combination for any student athlete as you see Estevan Lovett finish at the rim.
Yeah, it's been great watching him play and develop. Like, we typically would scrimmage Livonia before sectionals, so last year in our scrimmage before sectionals, he really played well at our place, and you've been good when the other team's giving you an ovation as well when you're checking out of your last varsity basketball game. Looks like we're going to get the JV call-ups coming in for Batavia here.
Aiden Bellavia continuing his strong second half. As you see more players set to check in for Batavia. You see, I think, Smith coming back on along with three JV call-ups. You got Brady Mazer, Isaac Varland, and Devin White. Brady the Laser Mazer. Paul Spiata in his bag here this afternoon.
Already having a nickname when you're checking in on your first varsity game. He's got a tip. Nope. Yeah, I didn't think that one was tipped, so we're going to get it right.
Over and back. .248 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 44-point lead for Batavia. And Gavin White. Not on the roster that I have available, being JV call-ups, but I misunderstood Paul Spiata on the PA. I heard Devin, but it is in fact Gavin White. And Gavin had two brothers previously play in this program, Camden and Caden White, both talented players. Camden has since gone on to play football at Mercyhurst University. He's quite the physical specimen, and it looks like Gavin is following in his brother's footsteps, going to provide Batavia with a big boost in terms of inside the paint next season. They didn't have a lot of size this year, but seem to have an influx of that on the way in Gavin White. And we also see subs on for Livonia. Owen Wetterings with the finish. You see Derek Lane in there for Livonia. You also see Ethan Mack on the floor now for the Bulldogs, along with Sean Abbott. And Woolston and Wetterings join them. And a travel called against Batavia with 1:43 remaining. Batavia staying into it here, up 40 points, and these JVs have been very impressive during their short time on the court. Good help side there from Gavin White, and a little bit over aggressive on the attempted block, but you can tell they know what they're doing out there.
Yeah, I was able to watch them a few times this year too. They had a very nice season for them. I believe they won the Division 3 or there's 4 in Monroe County for JV. Nice group here. This is, I think, where you see it. Like Wetherings is a junior, a little bit bigger, a little matchup than what they're used to going against. So got a little bit of an advantage with his poise. I thought on that he was very patient. And Wetherings finished in this game his second half off strong. Like something positive for him to head into next season as well.
Brady Mazer also had a brother play for this Batavia team, Hunter Mazer. At least he played for this. Oh, and a lot of contact there, but Hunter played for me on the modified team years ago. Also, one of our key players on that team. We were a quality team. Brandon Betances, really a letdown. Going into the year, he was a key player for us, and really a disappointing season for him. I joke. He's right in front of me here. Brandon is just busting his chops. Another one of those players on that team, Steve Stefaniak, a true disappointment in every sense of the word. No, I joke. Great guys, great friends now. It seems like a lifetime ago, guys. I think I'm better looking now than I was then, though. I said I think I'm better looking now than then. I age like a fine wine. I can say the same with you, Brandon. 3 ball. Gavin Woolston showing some range here. But that's always good to see, Coach Dickens. Seeing players from the past coming back and watching their old team. Excuse me, my squeak there. I'm in my second game. Gavin White on the rebound, put back. But some of these players didn't play at the varsity level. Some of them did, but they all come back. They watch the team play, and basketball has really become a tradition here in Batavia.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing when you do have alumni come back. It just shows how much it meant to them. Sports and basketball, like you said, not everybody sticks with it the whole time, but, as a coach, and you just mentioned it, you can build relationships. And, I talk with a lot of ex-athletes throughout the season. Abbott fired one up late.
And the waning moments of this fourth quarter, Batavia is marching on to the Section 5 Class B1 semifinal. A 37-point win for the Blue Devils. Batavia looking to advance to its 13th sectional title in 31 seasons under Coach Buddy Brasky, and they're one step closer to accomplishing that goal. For Dan Dickens, Mia Laughlin, my name is Alex Brasky. We'll see you in just about an hour or so.